Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Naisha and this is Brown and Abroad. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Ooh. And I would really love it if everyone would just hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. So I have been inspired by the recent August Alsina and Will Smith's entanglement revelation to come and do a little story time and talk to you guys all about an entanglement that I had at the end of last year where my girlfriend had a wife. Okay, so last year around October, I was in a blink and you miss it relationship with someone who we're gonna call Lynn. And Lynn was married. Lynn had a wife, and Lynn's wife had a live-in boyfriend. So they were kind of doing this poly open marriage thing. And when, well, let me take it all the way back. So let me talk to you guys a little bit about how Lynn and I actually initially met. So initially, we started off as friends. I met her through another person, like a mutual friend. We were all hanging out at this bar, and she was there. Um, and I don't know, she was just some random girl, didn't really know anyone. I was still very new. I think we met around March or April, maybe April, I think, of last year, 2019. So I had just moved to Chiang Mai and I was meeting people and I was like, okay, let me go out and meet people and try to make some friends. So that's how we met, through some mutual friends. And it was just like whatever. I don't really do well in big groups. So I wasn't really like the most social or whatever. But I think I ended up hanging out in a group setting with Lynn a few times, and I didn't really like her at the beginning because I think we were both kind of like interested in this other friend, so we were both kind of trying to flirt with this friend, and I was kind of looking at her like, uh-uh. But yeah. Anyways, so but how we started hanging out more is that I was like, I really need new friends to be around people, and but I was like, oh, everyone really just annoys me and I just don't know. But I was like, oh, she seemed kind of cool. I kind of liked her energy, I think. So let me maybe see if she wants to hang out. So I invited her out for a beer, I think, and we hung out, and it was, I wouldn't say awkward. Maybe it was awkward. It was kind of quiet or whatever. I tend to be a little bit more reserved at first when I first meet or start hanging out with someone anyway. And then we just kind of started hanging out more and more. And we just kind of, I guess we were both kind of awkward. So we kind of connected on that. We had similar taste in music and just really enjoyed spending time with them. And then it would progress from like hanging out, having a beer, to them like I wanted them, like, I remember they came over and they wanted to, or I wanted them to try to teach me like how to play the guitar. um, and they would come over and we would just hang or have lunch or whatever. And like when they would, I would just really enjoy spending time with them and had a good time and felt very like I could really kind of be myself. And I kind of remember feeling like, oh, I wish they could stay longer. And but I still kind of was like there was kind of like an attraction on both ends, but like that whole marriage thing, I was like, oh, so this person's married, so obviously like that's off limits. So I was, but like the more I spent time with them, like the more like I was like enjoying their time or whatever. And then we would like flirt a little bit back and forth, and I asked them, yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into the details. We flirt a little bit back and forth, and then like I ended up going to China for about 6 weeks at the end of last summer, And we still kept in contact and we were talking and stuff when I was there. And when I came back here, I think in September sometime, we maybe it was August, September, something like that. We could hung out some more and like kind of like talked about, I guess you would say, our feelings. Oh, I came back. We talked about our feelings. We went out on like some proper dates. We like went out or whatever and hung out some more and whatever else. I was kind of looking at it like, oh, I really enjoy spending time with this person, and maybe going into something with my eyes open is going to be a little bit better than being cheated on or having someone, I don't know, in the middle of the relationship decide that they want, I don't know, to bring another person in or something. I don't know. But at that point in my life, I just felt moved to try something new, as they. We started embarking on what we wanted to call some type of relationship or whatever, and things were cool. But then, like, all of the sudden, it kind of things weren't cool. But in hindsight, things were actually never cool, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But basically, it was kind of like as soon as we said that we wanted to try to like date, or we were really gonna like try to like embark on that, then there was like all these rules, and like it was like her wife, I guess, was like basically didn't want me like in her home, and like in like her, there was like this issue with like me being in Lynn's bed, because I mean they all had their own rooms, but Lynn, I something about the sacred space for them or something. That was kind of a thing. And then it kind of really snowballed from there. Like this little entanglement or relationship. I keep putting these in air quotes because now it just sounds so crazy that I thought I was going to have a relationship with a married person. Of course, I got into it thinking and feeling really good and really feeling this great connection with Lynn and like having fun with her and really enjoying spending time with her. And I thought the feeling was mutual, but it just was like all these little things. In hindsight, I think I thought that they had it all together because they were in this situation. They've been doing it for a little while, but that's actually not what it was. They were kind of still secretive about the throuple that they were in general. So there was like this conflict of me being like, okay, I have this girlfriend, but like we went out once, and then like someone walked in from like Lynn's job and was like, oh, this person, like it was just like really high school. It's like, oh, this person hates us, and if they find out, they're gonna tell, and so you can't like kiss me or hold my hand. And I was just like, all of this is making me feel like a teenager whose mom doesn't like them, and like it felt really icky, and it didn't feel very like satisfying, or it just felt like the dynamic of what was happening made me feel like I was an afterthought, and I don't think anyone wants to get into, air quotes again, a relationship that makes them feel like an afterthought, and where they feel like they can't be open, or that certain places are off limits, and it's like this automatic othering, and it just didn't seem like it just I just didn't it didn't feel good for me. So, long story short, Lynn ended up breaking up with me via Facebook Messenger, basically citing all these things about how they weren't taking care of themselves, and they weren't like, it was affecting the marriage apparently because they weren't like doing like the dishes, which are their chores, and Canadians are really like nice and don't want to complain, but they can tell that like this and that, and they have to like register their motorcycle, and it's just and life is so hard. And but as it turned out, what actually happened is that it was actually the night we were supposed to get together. We were supposed to get together. It was like a Friday, and instead of like they like ended up sending me this Facebook message, and then basically what happened actually is that was their wedding anniversary. So, it's a really important day. So they had to be there to sit around with their wife and their wife's boyfriend. In hindsight, I should not have been that like blindsided by the fact that they communicate so poorly because they had poor communication skills with their wife. Like I think I came into it like thinking, oh, they know what they're doing, but they didn't really know what they're doing, in my opinion. And they it, they just weren't ready. Like they just weren't ready to bring someone else into whatever it is that they were doing um, at all. And as well as Lynn was always, kind of depressed. And even when we were just friends, sometimes they would flake out. I should not have found that to be odd, and I definitely should have seen that coming. What can I say about this relationship? I definitely feel a little bit like I have egg on my face a little bit. Like I've definitely like moved on from it, but sometimes I think about it and I'm like, what was I thinking? Thinking I was gonna be treated as anything else other than a a little plaything or an afterthought when I was dating someone else who was married to another person. Like it just doesn't even sound right. Like my girlfriend has a wife. It doesn't even sound right.